Today, we are finally talking about one of my favorite series of all time, Samurai Jack. And yeah, I know what you're thinking, Jack? The guy with the sword? The soft-spoken warrior who just wants to go home? Yes, that guy. But what if I told you, this legendary hero is actually on a path that could turn him into his own worst enemy? Sounds wild, right? But once you look closely at the show's symbolism, time loops, and his mental state, it starts to make a scary kind of sense. Let's rewind a bit. Samurai Jack first aired in 2001, created by Genndy Tartakovsky, who also gave us classics like Dexter's Laboratory and Star Wars, Clone Wars, the good Clone Wars, some might say. The show follows a nameless samurai, whom the people call Jack, as he's flung into a dystopian future by the demon Aku. Jack's mission? Defeat Aku and return to the past to prevent this bleak future. Pretty straightforward, or so we thought. But beneath the surface, Jack isn't just a warrior. He's a man slowly unraveling. He starts as disciplined, noble, stoic, but over time, he faces psychological torment, isolation, and the crushing weight of a destiny that seems impossible to fulfill. Did you ever notice Jack's silence growing heavier across seasons? Let me know if you picked up on this change in tone. Here's where things get spicy: the time paradox theory. The idea is simple but chilling. What if Jack, trapped in the future for so long, eventually becomes corrupted? Unable to change the past, he adapts. Becomes jaded. Becomes something like Aku. Maybe not in looks, but in spirit, in power, in the way he exerts control. Season 5's Jack with long hair, black armor, riding a motorcycle with a grim, cold expression. There's even a fan theory that Aku isn't just a villain, he's Jack from a collapsed timeline. Crazy, but think about this. Maybe Aku was born from a cosmic dark essence. Jack is constantly surrounded by time, magic, chaos, despair. What if, in some infinite loop, Jack fell victim to the very thing he fought to destroy? What if this was Aku's true plan all along? Not just to defeat Jack, but to break him. Slowly. Mentally. You might be thinking, come on, that's just speculation. But there are subtle visual hints, like Jack's shifting design in later seasons. Remember how bright and clean he looked early on? By season 5, he's darker, scruffier, and emotionally unstable. The red eyes, hallucinations, and that eerie moment when Jack starts talking to himself? Yeah, not the same guy. Clapperboard example. In one episode, Jack kills a group of innocent-looking creatures and spirals into a guilt-ridden trance. In another, he literally contemplates suicide. And yet, every time, something brings him back, until he loses that sword. That's a key moment. Because that sword was more than a weapon, it was a piece of his identity. Losing it wasn't just tactical, it was spiritual. Let's dive into something a bit deeper: the madness of immortality. Jack doesn't age. That's not just cool anime logic, it's horrifying. Imagine living for centuries, watching civilizations rise and fall, making friends only to bury them again and again. Your mission never complete. Your enemy always just out of reach. Book's philosophical tie-in. This is very Nietzschean, right? He who fights monsters should see to it that he does not become a monster. Jack fights darkness every day, but what happens when he stops seeing the light? Megaphone engage the audience. If you had to live like that for 1,000 years, could you stay sane? Or would you start to justify darker decisions, just to end the pain? Remember the Guardian? The blue-skinned, shades-wearing warrior guarding a time portal? He once told Jack, "Your time has not yet come," and showed a vision of a future Jack, older, kingly, maybe even godlike. But here's the twist. In Season 5, that time portal? Destroyed. The Guardian? Dead. So, what happened to that future Jack? Was it a warning? A promise? Or an alternate version of Jack who did become a new Aku? Puzzle piece speculation segment. Maybe the portal showed us a version of Jack that took control, not to fix time, but to rule it. Ask the audience. Is it possible that Jack became the very tyrant the portal was guarding against? Let's go big picture now. Aku and Jack are literally opposites, chaos and order. But they need each other. Aku is unkillable in the future. Jack is powerless in the past. It's a cosmic stalemate. First quarter moon, the yin-yang analogy. They are two sides of the same coin. And the moment one disappears, the other loses meaning. New Moon Deep Dive. What if Jack kills Aku, but in doing so, absorbs that dark essence to restore the timeline? What if Aku's power needs a host, and that host becomes Jack? Visual sequence idea. Jack standing victorious, then black veins creeping up his arm as time rewrites itself. Let's talk about the final season. Jack finally defeats Aku. He returns to the past. He wins. But at a cost. Ashi, his love, vanishes because she's a product of the future. Jack is left alone again. Back where he started. But emotionally shattered. Musical note cue sad music and cherry blossoms. But is it really over? Time is a circle in this show. Who's to say this loop doesn't start again, but differently this time? Scroll tie into Eastern philosophy. The show subtly touches on Buddhist themes, rebirth, suffering, cycles. Maybe Jack's journey never truly ends. Let's flip the theory for a second. What if Jack doesn't become Aku? What if he becomes something beyond, a god of balance, who watches over time itself? Maybe the reason we never saw him age is because he had already ascended. Maybe the guardian was guarding himself, his future form, returning to warn the past. A silhouette of Jack overseeing timelines, guiding warriors like he once was. Not evil, but no longer human. So, what do you think? Is Jack destined to become his own enemy? A tragic victim of time, or a reluctant god reshaping the universe? Let's talk in the comments. Do you believe Jack escapes the loop? Or is that the final lesson, that even heroes are bound by time? Backhand index pointing right, smash that like button if this blew your mind, subscribe for more deep dives into animation, and share this with a fellow Samurai Jack fan who needs to hear this theory. Watch next, the tragic rise of Courage the Cowardly Dog. Hidden symbolism in Avatar, The Last Airbender. Subscribe for more cartoon conspiracies.